Hey everyone, I'm Justin. Welcome to our channel, Justin and Anna Hit the Trail. No Anna today, it is just me. I wanted to talk about how we vlogged our journey on the PCT last year. In this video, I will cover the gear we used, how we managed data storage, what apps we used, how we uploaded all of our videos, and the overall process of filming and uploading our vlogs to YouTube, along with some additional little tips and tricks throughout. So let's get right into it. I'll be honest, we did not use any fancy camera gear on the trail. All of the filming that we did on the PCT, and even this video that you're watching right now, was all filmed on my iPhone 14 Pro with some contributions from Anna and her iPhone 15 Pro. We'll dive more into the phone specs later because we did change some default settings. In addition to our phones, I used this Joby Grip Tight 1. It's a nice little flexible tripod. I was thinking about getting one of those really lightweight metal tripods, but this is just much more maneuverable and easier to use on uneven terrain. I can wrap it around branches, and it's really lightweight and it fit nicely into the shoulder pocket of my backpack. I did start with a smaller version of a different Joby tripod, but it actually broke around Tehachapi. I Amazoned myself this one in Tehachapi, and it ended up lasting the rest of the trail. Actually, to be honest, not this specific one, this one's new, but the one I had in Tehachapi lasted me from, well, Tehachapi to Canada, and I just ordered this one. For audio, we used a combination of the built-in microphones on our iPhones, but also this Rode Video Mic Me. It's just a nice little compact microphone. This one has a lightning connector that plugs into the bottom of my iPhone 14 Pro, and this thing worked great. The iPhone built-in mics, I think, are generally really usable, pretty good audio quality. However, the wind noise can be quite insane. And so for the dialogue, whenever we're talking, I wanted something to muffle the wind. And so this, in combination with the windscreen that it came with, worked great. We are camping outside. It's very windy. Lots of other tents here. So I didn't use this on the scenery shots because to use this actually requires pulling the case off the bottom of my phone and then plugging this in. And I didn't want to do that for every single shot that we took. So kind of reserved this for the talking shots, but it worked great. Really good at blocking the wind. It has good quality. I will say it does make all the audio tracks mono as opposed to the built-in microphone, which is stereo. So didn't make a difference really when we were putting the videos together. Just thought it might be something to note. The only other piece of gear that we used for filming was actually this SanDisk little USB flash drive. And this is for storage purposes, obviously. 256 gigs of storage on one of these. I used 2 of these throughout the trail in addition to the phone storage, but these came in really handy. It's essentially just a flash drive, a USB drive, a USB connection on this end, and I had my lightning connection on this end for my phone, and this worked great and definitely provided us with just enough storage, which we're gonna dive into right now. So regarding storage, my iPhone has 256 gigs of storage, Anna's phone has 256 gigs of storage, and then I used 2 of these SanDisk flash drives, which also have 256 gigs of storage. So in total, throughout the whole PCT, we managed to get away with 1 terabyte, just over 1 terabyte of storage, and we barely squeaked by with that. So if we were to do this again, I at least would upgrade my phone and get something with much more storage capacity. One last note regarding storage. Pre-trail, both of us transferred all of our existing photos and videos from our phones onto my computer and then deleted everything except for the apps that we were going to be using. So we kind of started with a blank slate on our phones to maximize the storage we had. As we hiked on and we were filming constantly, I did have to constantly clear video from my phone to make room for new videos, but we'll get into that more a little bit later in this video. Okay, let's talk about the phones a bit. Again, we both just use our iPhones. So let's dive into the basic settings that we changed. We filmed everything at 4K and 30 frames per second, and we made this our default for video recording. If you want to set your iPhone up to be like ours, go into your settings, go to your camera options, click record video, select 4K at 30 frames per second. We kept the enhanced stabilization on. I find this really helps to avoid a shaky camera, especially when walking, but even panning shots. We turned the HDR video off. I find when this is on, it makes the video super bright and looks overexposed and really white and just unnatural. I think when that's off, at first it looks like the picture's a little bit darker, but in reality, especially when you're watching it back on a computer or a TV screen, looks much, much better in my opinion. Another thing I really liked was having the grid and leveling options turned on in the camera settings. When these are on, it really helps make sure the shots are level, and the grid is super handy if you're trying to use the rule of thirds for your videos or your photos. This is actually a video of Pikes Peak here by Colorado Springs, but you get the point. All right, let's back off the gear real quick. I just want to talk about our vlogging style, our video creation process, and with that, the apps that we use to make it happen. We made videos that we wanted to watch. A lot of hiking vlogs tend to be just a lot of selfie shots, a lot of hiking and talking shots, maybe a little bit of scenery thrown in there, but we wanted to make something a little more entertaining that we'd want to come back and watch after the trail. While we did have plenty of selfie shots, for us this really meant getting the best scenery shots possible, lots of shots of one or both of us hiking, and of course our beginning and ending of the day commentary. In other words, we liked variety. For the hiking shots, yes, this did mean setting my phone up on the tripod and we would either walk toward the camera or away from the camera, and this did mean I would either have to hike back to get the camera or we would hike back toward the camera to gather it. So it did mean some extra miles. Did not total up how much extra walking I had to do doing this, but it really wasn't that much overall, and I definitely think getting these hiking shots of both of us were worth the little bit of extra effort. For the scenery shots, I'm sure you have noticed, I really liked to use a slow pan. I think this is a good way to capture a little bit more of the scenery without having to zoom out or use the wide angle lens. I did use the 3x zoom occasionally to get a close up on some things, but I tried not to use it too much because I think it does make things look a little bit grainy. Again, it's an iPhone, not a professional camera. But I did use the 2x zoom pretty often, and that seemed to work just fine. One of my favorite shots to get was actually using the 2x zoom from a distance while hiking behind Anna. So I would just back off of her a little bit, use the 2x zoom, and just walk at the same pace as her. And I feel like this really helped bring the backdrop a little bit closer to the camera, and it made it look more like it really does in person. I really like how these shots turned out. I think it's pretty common knowledge, especially when you're shooting an epic landscape, that it never looks as big on the camera as it does in person. I think the best way to capture a landscape like that is to shoot several smaller shots and string them together. Use a little bit of zoom, capture the important features, or do the slow pan or a combination like I like to do, and I think that's the best way to capture a big landscape. One thing I really don't like to use is the wide angle lens. Yes, it's a good way to capture the entire view that you have into the frame, but it distorts things, makes it look weird, and I just try to avoid using it whenever possible. Moving on. So after filming throughout the day, we would get our closing thoughts and then settle into the tent for the night, and that's when we would start transferring videos and start editing. The first thing Anna would do was transfer her videos over to me via AirDrop, which actually surprisingly does not reduce the video quality. And after I had all of the videos for the day on my phone, I would start editing our video. For editing, I used an app called LumaFusion. It was a $30 one-time purchase, fortunately not a subscription, and it is well worth the price. It's got a lot more features than iMovie or whatever the default app is for your phone, and I think it was well worth the cost. I'm not going to go through all the features of the app and how to use it. That's definitely not this video. I'm sure there are videos out there for that. But it was easy enough to access my videos, drag them into place in my timeline, trim them down to where I need them, set them to my music, adjust the audio levels, etc. I did usually spend 30 minutes to an hour at the end of each day in the tent editing that day's videos, so understandably this is not for everyone. Usually at the end of a long day of through hiking, you are toast and you just want to go to sleep. There were days I did skip editing because I was too tired and have to make up for it later on another day on the trail, or just wait till town, and it kind of like puts more stress on the town day doing that. So I tried to stay on top of it and edit every day on the trail. We didn't do daily vlogs. Our videos were usually 2 to 4 days, some longer, and we felt that was a good pace for us. After I was done editing for the day, I would transfer that day's videos over to the flash drive, and the SanDisk iXpand, I think that's the full name of it, it does have its own app. So when you plug it in, the app pulls up. It was easy enough to select the day's videos, create a folder for that day, and just drag everything over, or copy it all over. It would usually just take a few minutes to transfer everything. Really wasn't that bad. At first, I also transferred the completed edited videos for YouTube onto the flash drive, but that ended up taking quite a bit more time to copy over and ate up a lot of storage space. So eventually I kind of gave up on that. And again, if I was to do this again, I would just get a phone or get myself some more storage so I could copy the completed videos over as well. Every few weeks, my phone would run out of storage, so I made it a point to delete videos from the most recently uploaded YouTube video. Let me clarify that a little bit. For example, if the YouTube video for days 90 through 92 was just released on YouTube, I would then go delete days 90 through 92 worth of footage from my phone. At this point, all the raw footage was transferred over to the flash drive, so I had no worries about accessing that if I needed it in the future. Apparently though, there were a couple of days I apparently forgot to transfer that day's videos over to the flash drive, and then I went back and deleted all the files from my phone, and unfortunately we have a couple of missing days because of that, including Goat Rocks, which is a spectacular section. Fortunately, I do have the completed video on YouTube, so anything that you guys see that has Goat Rocks in it that was released after the trail was actually from downloading our video from YouTube. The unfortunate thing with that is it is not the same quality as the original footage. Let's talk about music. Quick background, for 15 years I played guitar in a folk metal band called Adavant. We're not playing music anymore, but if you would like, you could still go to Spotify, search Adavant, A-D-A-V-A-N-T, and our music is still on there. Those were some of the best years of my life, memories I'll never forget, fantastic time, but this is aside the point. The reason I'm bringing that up is because I'm a big fan of music. I think it enhances almost everything, including hiking videos. For the record, when I was hiking, I actually did not listen to a lot of music. When I'm hiking, I actually enjoy listening to my footsteps and listening to the breeze and the trees and the sounds of nature. Occasionally I did put music in, but I'd say 95% of the time I had nothing in my ears on the whole trail. However, when it comes to videos, even hiking videos, I enjoy the videos that actually have music in them, and I really wanted to incorporate music into our videos. All of the music that we used was from a website called Epidemic Sound. It's all royalty-free music. It's a giant selection. And before the trail, I downloaded, I think, 50 songs onto my phone. I added a handful more as we hiked on. I did have my favorites, so some songs repeated more than others, but in the end, I think we used 50 songs or so for all of the vlogs. Being a musician, I was really picky about the music that we used. I didn't want anything electronic or anything like that. I wanted real musicians with real instruments, just because that's very personal to me. Even me, as a metalhead, I don't want to be blasted by metal while I'm watching a hiking video. So I did try to keep the music more approachable and a little softer by my standards anyway. But I also tried to make the music fit the mood of the day, and overall I like to think I did a good job with that. Occasionally though, I did throw something a little bit heavy in there because, you know, metal. Some people, it seems, didn't enjoy the music in the videos, but some people are wrong. We did try a video with no music in it, and the next video, we went right back to music. For creating thumbnails, I used an app called Canva, which I think is pretty popular. I did upgrade to the Pro version, which does cost something. It is a subscription. I don't remember what it is off the top of my head, but I think it was worth it. It just allows a lot more selection and variety and has some special features, including a background remover, which I used every time when I'd put the PCT logo into the picture. So I found that to be super useful. Uploading videos on the trail was very hit or miss. A lot of these small trail towns do not have good Wi-Fi. Uploading videos when we got to town was definitely a priority. Whenever we'd get to our hotel or sit down at a restaurant or a bar, I'd always bust out my phone and run a quick internet speed test. I think I just used the Google one. I was looking for upload speeds of at least 8 megabits per second. If we hit 20, that was amazing. And there was actually a surprising town, I think it was Packwood. We were in a brewery and I was able to upload like 2 videos within an hour and a half or so. It was kind of shocking. I just wanted to hang out there all day and just upload everything I could. 33.5 megabits per second upload speed. Hell yeah.
It's important to have 2 beers.
Yes. Gotta get the videos uploaded. But a lot of towns have really bad Wi-Fi and not great network data. So whenever you have that ability to upload, take it. Okay, now just a few small pieces of advice. If I were to do this again, one small feature on my phone I would use more often is the auto focus lock or auto exposure lock. I'm sure you've dealt with it too if you've recorded a lot of video, especially outside, but sometimes you can get that screen flickering and that exposure lock removes that. So if you just press and hold anywhere on the screen when you're recording a video or about to record a video, it will lock the exposure and you will remove that screen flickering. And that came in super handy. Unfortunately, earlier on in the trail, I wasn't using it that often, and I definitely ended up with some unusable footage. Now, if your intent is to make a true film about the PCT, yes, you probably want to actually use a real good camera, not just a cell phone. But for the sake of vlogging, I think phones work just fine. You can film in 4K, and I really don't think you need much more than that. Yes, a phone's not going to be as fully featured as a real camera. You're not going to be able to zoom in as clearly. It's not going to do as well on low light situations. But, and I know this sounds cliche, I think a lot of it comes down to not the quality of your gear, but how you use it. I think if you can get the right shot and make your videos engaging, a phone works just fine for a vlog. And when it comes to thru hiking, weight matters. Everything that you're carrying matters. And you're already carrying a 4K camera. Well, I think that about does it. Pretty sure I thoroughly covered everything we did, at least, to vlog the PCT, and I really hope this video was helpful or entertaining to some of you. If that is the case, please, like the video, subscribe to the channel, all that fun stuff. And if you have any questions, drop them down in the comments. I'll try to answer all of them. Until next time, see you guys out on the trail. Cheers.